Oh, welcome everybody. Good to
Hey
have you
Don, how
here.
you doing?
Hi, who's Alien?
This is Chris.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Fine, how you doing?
Good. We got Mildred here. Hi, Mildred. How are you doing today? We're waiting on Sid. Um, I look forward to these little Friday meetings. They're so much fun. We don't get a lot of people that come on the meetings, but we get a lot of people who who do indeed watch it later. So it's pretty cool.
I know I do watch it all the time.
Oh, I'm glad you do. There's always something fun to learn, you know? Always something fun to learn.
It's all about learning.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Once you stop learning,
You're gone.
yeah, never a good thing.
There's new
Lauren
things
is
coming up
here.
every day.
Hi, Lauren. Hi, Sophie. How are you guys?
Very good, thank you.
I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Did you get a chance to proof the book? Is everything okay with your story?
Yes.
Okay. Wait a minute. You're not in the book.
Which book?
The one we did for that's Carmen's in the book. The one we did
I
where
was talking about click this.
oh, no. Are you enjoying Click This?
Yeah.
There you go. Look at that. Mine will be here tomorrow, I'm told.
My only disappointment, no photos.
I know.
But hey,
It's sometimes we have to talk about photography without photos. So, hey Sid, how are you, dude?
Hey, everybody.
How are you, buddy?
What's going on?
Oh, not a whole lot. I thought about you guys last week when you guys were doing your show. I was at Fry Canyon, Utah, literally frying. It was so damn hot. It's the hottest part of my trip was that particular point in Utah. Man, it was hot.
Good trip?
Good trip. A lot of writing. I really needed that. I'm also like an evangelist for this place that I found. I mean, it's not a secret or anything, but it's a place called Natural Bridges National Park. And apparently it doesn't get that many visitors because it literally is. And if you looked up in the middle of nowhere, I think they would have a picture of Fry Canyon and Natural Bridges National Park. It is a long way from anything. Literally, I think the nearest big town, big city, would be Albuquerque. If you were talking about a town, it would be Durango, which is about 240 miles away. It is literally in the middle of the western or eastern Utah desert. It's so fascinating. It's sandstone and browns and everything. And then right through the middle of this valley is a huge alabaster white canyon. It is as white as chalk. And it's really deep. I don't know how deep it is, but you don't want to fall into that canyon. You'd have time to think about a lot of shit on the way down. It's that deep. And then down at the bottom is this little slow-moving river, creek kind of thing. And there's all these like 27 natural bridges down in that canyon. I am going to go back. I'm not going to go back in the summer. No, because that canyon then kind of resembles. Have you ever had one of those toasters? You put the toast down. That's what it looks like to me. That's really what it looks like to me. And I don't think I'll be going back in the summer necessarily, but I'm going to go back in the winter. They say that the literature there said, it's a very mild winter. It's kind of like, it's not very far from Moab, if you want to
Okay. All right.
it that way. As a crow flies, there's no roads crossing over. You got it all the way up and all the way back down. But yeah, I thought it was absolutely astounding. I want to go back with some film cameras and really spend some time there. Problem being, there's like the closest hotel is like 50 miles away.
Oh.
I mean, when I say in the middle of nowhere, I mean literally, guys, the middle of nowhere. But you got to put it on your bucket list. It's absolutely fascinating place to see. Well, great. Welcome, everybody. It looks like we got a pretty good crowd here today. We thought we'd postulate a little bit about what we would talk about, and Sid thought it was a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Glad you did, sir. What would you do if you were starting a business today and you only you could only scrape together $8,000? Now, the reason I came up with the number $8,000 is that seems like a number that someone could save up for. Mm-hmm. You could get to $8,000. You could put a couple $100 away a month or whatever. You could conceivably get to $8,000. You want to start a business. I can't think of too many businesses that you can start for $8,000. Seriously. Mm-hmm. You'd blow $8,000 on lease of a tiny office space if you were going to go into the insurance business. I mean, you'd blow right through $8,000. So we have $8,000, and then originally I thought, Sid, well, they're just going to start from scratch. And I thought, well, you wouldn't want to go and be a photographer to go in business as a photographer if you didn't already have a camera.
Yeah.
So we're going to see what we come out with on the other end. But I did. How do you feel about used equipment? Because
in fact, I buy everything I can used. I buy just about all of my lenses. I buy off the Fred Miranda website, fredmiranda.com. They have it's a photographer users group, mm-hmm. But they have a very active buy and sell. And I like these guys because this forum is made up of all these guys that'll go out and buy brand new gear and then barely touch it. And then the next iteration of a camera gets announced. And so they're like, well, I got to sell this thing that I just bought so I can get this newer thing. Because they're constantly. So I buy my 135 f2, my portrait lens I just bought last year. I bought a 100 millimeter macro Canon L lens. And I mean, they're basically brand new, but they're at a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
So I still,
we didn't discuss this at the beginning, but I'm right there with you. I have
everything I buy. Yeah, as long as it's in, like they take care of it, and as long as you buy from places where they take care of it. Like I know these guys. I've been buying on there long enough. I know they baby the hell. I mean, half the time they don't even use it. It sits on their counter for a while, and they're like, oh, So in fact, I just bought. I had a little Fuji X100S that I've been using for years, and I was like, oh, I wonder what the X100F, which I think is 2 models after the one I have. It's the newest one's the V, the previous one was the F, so it was 1 generation older. I was like, I wonder what those things are going for used now. And last Thursday, I just bought one at a really, really good price, so it should be here in a couple of days.
Nice.
So used. I mean, all my Canon equipment, everything. Like I just got. It's interesting because you run into these. If you start looking around, you run into these people that. Had a guy went out and bought 3 brand new B1600 Alien B lights. Had them sitting in a case. He never used them. Decided he wanted to get pro photo, and so he was just like, "Is anybody looking for any Alien Bs?" And I have 3 now, but I was like, I'd like to have a kit where I can just keep them in the case, and then when I have a location job, I just throw the case in the car. I got all 3 of them. They're brand new. These are B1600, so they're about $350 a piece. Right. I got all 3 for $300. $100 a piece. It was cheaper to buy them. Like I was going to send mine in because I've had mine since 2004. So it's like some of them you turn on, and one of them it kind of makes this like little whiny noise until it, falls into the swing of things. It was going to cost me more to send them in and just give them like a general tune-up. So I was just like, shit, $100 a piece. I'll just buy 3 brand new ones. The guy hadn't even used them. He bought them, and then he fell in love with the idea of Profoto. I want to get Profoto. I don't need these. I want Profoto. So used is the way to go. Used on everything.
I got my.
What was that link, Sid?
What's that?
What link did you said you used for your?
I'll drop it right in the chat.
It's the Fred Miranda group. It's great. Miranda's been around for good God 20 years at least. And I'll link for them, but there's a lot of gearheads.
Yeah, it's all gearheads. And it's
who are dentists and doctors and oncologists, and they got the money and they just buy shit. And thank you, Mike. Mike put up KEH, Roberts, Adorama, B&H, and all of those are really good. The problem with it is that you've got sales tax. So all those people when you're buying off. Now I use eBay quite a bit, but I only buy from 5-star people.
Yep.
If you've ever sold on eBay or know someone who's sold, you will know how hard it is to get a preferred vendor, 5-star preferred vendor from eBay. Man, you can't have any problems. You better be delivering and over-delivering because eBay is just brutal. You get 2 complaints in a year, you'll lose your preferred status just like that.
Yeah, they're pretty
So I think I told you guys about the Fuji I bought. It said good condition. Well, I can't imagine it looked any better than this when it came out of the box 20 years ago. It is absolutely in pristine condition. It was labeled as good. I'm like, okay. I wonder what excellent looked like. I can't imagine it could look better.
B&H and Roberts do that all the time, Don. Adorama's real good about it. B&H, I don't know, but KEH, Roberts, and Adorama, if they say it's good, it's at least a step or 2 better than what they say.
Better, yeah. That's how they keep that status that they have.
Yeah, they undersell and over deliver, and that's I buy a ton from those 3.
How much do you think a MacBook Pro with 16 gigs of RAM is going for today at Apple?
$1,279.
No, sir. $2,579. MacBook Pro, not an Air.
Oh, not the Pro. Oh, sorry. I.
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah. Guess how much a 2019 MacBook with 16 gigs of RAM refurbished is going for on eBay? $1,000. It's a year old, same RAM, a year old, and it's refurbished, and it's a $1,500 savings.
Yeah.
When you're first starting out, do you really need brand new? I would say absolutely no. I just looked at a 5D Mark III. I've got it bookmarked up here. 5D Mark III, $1,100 with 25,000 actuations.
Yep.
Wow.
That's a steal.
I have a 5D Mark III I bought from one of Sue Bryce's mentors used. It was her backup camera, and she sold it to me for $1,200, and I got to make payments about 6 months ago, and it hardly had any actuations.
I know. Yeah.
That's how I bought my D750. It was on eBay.
Oh, and it had a 50 millimeter lens with it. A Sigma. Right. It's a nice lens.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, the Sigma 50?
Yeah.
The 1.2?
No, it's not a 1.2. It's a 1.8.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, oh.
No, I know. I wish.
That's a hell of a deal. Jeez. Yeah, they came with this. Yeah.
Well, they've got a Nikon D800 on Adorama for $669 in excellent condition.
A D800?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just looked at, I've got a D750 bookmarked over here. D750 with a lens for, I think it's $750, and it's refurbished. So you're starting at 0 actuations.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a great book. I mean, camera. It's a hell of a great camera, the 750. If you want, I think I probably would start somebody if they said, look, we want to get my business going, and we talk to them a little bit. A lot of it's going to depend on what business you want to start. Are you looking to do architecture, real estate initially to get some cash flow? Are you looking to do portraits and stuff? Portraits, D750, no problem. Real estate, I'd probably say D800, D10, 810, you know, something with the higher pixel count so you could do more cropping. But both of those cameras can be had right around $1,000. So if someone did not have camera and computer, we're looking at right around $2,000 out of our $8,000 for good camera, good computer. You know, now that was a 13, by the way. The price I said, the $1,000, it's for MacBook 13. The 15s are about $500 more. But the point is, you know, you can start small. I'm not a person who has a problem against beginning cameras, entry-level cameras either, depending on what kind of work you're going after.
Yep.
If you're doing consumer commercial work, like a lot of the stuff we do at Project 52, or like do an ad for a local coffee shop, or do an ad for a local florist, or so. Hey, you can do that on a Rebel with a kit lens. Come on, certainly you can.
Yep.
If you start shooting for ad agencies, no, that's not going to work. But for most of that stuff, that's really great. Lens-wise, Sid, if you had to get one lens, what would yours be? Buddy?
I would say if you were a Canon shooter, I would say just automatically get one of Canon's 50 millimeter 1.8s. They're like $100. That lens should be, even if you never use it, keep it in your bag. It's just it should come with every camera bag that you buy. They should include one of those lenses because it's cheap. It works really well. The image quality is good. And like I said, even if you don't shoot 50 millimeter, just buy the damn thing and stick it in your bag and keep it in case you break a lens or something. Like, everybody should just have that lens. Like, they should just make that the pack-in lens that you get when you buy a camera. Just like, just boom, take that. And
even
then
if the camera's a Fuji, doesn't matter. They get that damn lens.
Yes, exactly. You know, they'll give you a little add-on thing. But I think, and then I would say, like, if you were thinking of doing primarily portraits, I'm a big believer in. I'm a Canon shooter, you know, just because I always had film crap Canon stuff when I was in college.
Yeah.
I would say if you were thinking of doing portraits, I've never had any problems with Canon's 135. It's an f2. It's a beautiful lens. I use that primarily, strictly for all my headshot photography. I go on a very limit. Like, I started with not many lenses. I mean, to me too is buy the essentials, and then you can rent anything that you need. And if you bill it to the client, then it doesn't suck into your cost of doing business at all. So, like, because I do mostly headshots, I have a series of long lenses. I have a 100 millimeter macro, and I have a 135. And then I just got an 85 1.8. I don't even know. But usually I'm within the 85 to 135 focal range. And
somebody saw the show, Steve. We have a.
Oh, we got another baby.
Oh, she's hungry.
She's hungry. She's hungry, and she's not going to get any food from Papa, so I'm going to give her back to Grandma now. Aw, Papa loves you.
But she's so cute, but she doesn't look cute when she's crying.
Baby. Okay, don't fly her in anymore. Bye-bye. Grandmas and grandbabies, what do you do? It's like... Actually, she's worse than my other grandbaby who wants to come in and sit on my knee when I'm doing these things. The good, I would say the 135 for me would be a little long if it was your only lens, but the 85 would be dead on.
Yep.
My preferable lens, if you're a Nikon shooter, we're only going to talk about Nikon and Canon because, quite frankly, there's only two brands I can speak to intelligently. I don't know what Sony offers, but I'm sure you Sony shooters, you'll know what I'm talking about. I think there's no better bargain in the world than the 24 to 120 Nikon than the 24 to 105 Canon. You should be able to shoot 90% of what you want to shoot: food, product, architecture, anything, with that one lens. You know, if you know you're going to be doing portraiture and that's really what you want, then I think the 50 and the 85, like you said, Sid, or even the 50 and the 135, all makes all the sense in the world. If that is what you're going to do, you do not need a 24 millimeter if you're going to be doing portraiture.
No, I have, when I first went digital, my kit was, I had two lenses. I had the 135 and then I got a Canon 17-40, and I used that exclusively for location portraits and, you know, working with musicians outside because I wanted the environment in all of my shots. And those two lenses, like I could still today, I could still do everything that I do now with just a 135 and a 17-40. And then, you know, like if you need anything else, like I'm a big proponent of renting. Like if you guys have gear rental houses in your area, you don't need to buy anything. You can just rent it, you know, rent it for 4 days or 5 days, or rent it for a week. And then the client pays, you know, in the back end, the client pays for it anyway. So, you know, there's all the fancy lenses that you want, or the expensive stuff like that stupid Canon 85-1.2 thing. It's like the cost of, you know, a small house. Like, just rent it. Like, you don't need to have that kind of thing. Just rent it.
Right. And if you're doing something for your portfolio, rent it for a weekend, get it done. If you're doing something for a client, you're going to pass it on to them anyway. So rent it for a week and then use it for your portfolio for the other 3 or 4 days you're not shooting for your client. It just makes sense. I don't do, for me, I have really not dabbled lately with anything wider than a 24. And I used to shoot a 20 all the time, Sid. I mean, I love that 20. Today, to me, it looks almost cartoonish. So it's used so often that I don't like it. So 24 or even 28. Doesn't Nikon make a 28 to 135, something like that? Or am I thinking Canon? Is that a Canon lens?
I don't know.
28 to 135, because I'd probably be pretty happy with that as well. For one lens to do commercial work. And for those of you who think that we're going to be talking about weddings and stuff, and we aren't talking about weddings. We're talking about much more of a commercial thing. So
how much is that lens? The 24 to 105. I mean, usually all my lenses, I have a lot of primes. I got them because I got the job. You know, I wanted a job. I needed the lens, so I added the cost of a used whatever it was to the job, bought the lens, or I rented.
Which lens now?
70-200. I can't afford a 70-200, and I don't see the need for it. So, but the 24 to 105, I think.
The 24 to 105. Hold on, I'll look it up for you real quick here on Amazon. Okay, give you a Amazon price. 24 to 105 Canon on Amazon is running under 1,000. It's about 847 with all the you know, the bag it comes in and all that kind of stuff. If you get a set of filters, about 866. Here's one for 789. I don't know, what does white box mean, guys? Anybody knows what white box means?
No.
I think it's just an unlabeled box.
Okay.
I mean, so maybe a replaced box.
They are new. They're saying they're new. White box. You're probably right. They're not coming in the Canon box.
I'd be careful on anything like that though, because there's a lot of times where they're actually made for, say, the Southeast Asia market, but they but they use it in the United States. So you get the same product and you're paying the same price, but you don't get the warranty.
I always buy used without a warranty anyway, and nothing ever broke unless I.
In Virginia, if you wanted the new model, the one that's designed for the RF, which you can still use on your DSLR, they're running right about 1,100. So they're also much smaller. The Canon RF 24 to 105 is much smaller than the 24 to 105 that I have, which is the DSLR model. It's a good hefty lens, but it's not nearly as hefty as the 70 to 200 2.8. It is an f4 lens.
That one is so huge. Although I'm now shooting with a 100 on my Pentax 645, and that's my main camera anyway. And the thing weighs a ton, only because I broke my 75 millimeter lens. But it's like when you're shooting and that's what you have, you just do it. Because of that exercise you always had us do, where we shot with one lens for a week. That had me learning. So right now I'm waiting to find another 75 millimeter for the Pentax. So I'm just shooting with a 100 or with a 45 millimeter on my second body.
Oh, that's cool. So far we've got if they're starting, and I would say this, and I'm not a snob about it, but I do like full frame cameras. The reason that I like full frame cameras is you have more croppability on the full frame camera, and when you're shooting commercial, you just never know what kind of weird configuration you're going to get.
Yeah.
But 6Ds and 7Ds Canons, and they're good cameras. They're beautiful sensors on those things.
Yeah, my day-to-day camera is a 5D Mark II. I have no need to upgrade. It's beautiful, and I can get files out of that thing that look, as long as my exposure is like dead on and headshots, I can.
But the problem is you only have 27 custom functions on that, and I will never own a camera that has less than 48 custom functions.
It's got like 6 autofocus points that like don't work. Yeah. I've got one central autofocus point that I use, and that's it. Like it sucks if you're trying to shoot in low light with a Mark II. Oh my God, that thing will just hunt and hunt and hunt and hunt, and it'll never find it.
I'm a Canon shooter. I know all about shooting into the sun.
It's terrible. So it's specific. Like if I wasn't doing portraits primarily, like I would second guess, but it doesn't give me any problems. And the files, I mean, if I can nail exposure, like most of the time I'm shooting my headshots right around 5.6. I used to, when I first started shooting headshots, I was at 1.8 and 2.8. And every time I would zoom in on the files, one eye was out of focus or the depth of field was just way too shallow. Eventually I was just like, I don't want to keep doing that. Like I want to be able to make everybody out. So, I mean, I in the studio, man, like I've got my lighting locked down. Like I know when somebody comes in here for a headshot, I know the exact setting on my Alien B. I know it's just going to be a 5.6. I need to stand here. And I can get, those files are so clean and sharp that, like you wouldn't know it was done on a what was a Mark II, like a 2008 camera or something like that.
Oh, they're great cameras.
It's awesome. So, and that's the other thing too. It's like there are so many older cameras. There are people out there right now with an original 6 megapixel digital Rebel that are kicking our asses, making incredible artwork.
Well, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Like the tool is just one thing. It's the gray matter.
What's a D800 cost? I'm serious. What is a D800?
$669.
Huh?
$669 on Adorama in excellent condition.
Can you imagine? That was a $3,000 camera when I did Creative Live. And I don't feel that much older. I'm sure it was probably 7 or 8 years ago that I was there in Seattle, but that was like the camera of the day. And now it's going for $600. And people go, it's an old D800. I got to have the D972 or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, no, you don't. It was... Maybe I'll go get. I've been looking for a second body for my DF, and that might be a great second body right there.
Do you still use that? Somebody bought that for you, right?
Huh?
Somebody bought that as a gift for you, didn't they?
Oh, DF? Yeah. Like I would ever go out and spend $5,000 on a camera body. No, it was a gift from a wonderful friend who has asked to remain anonymous, and
that's a
they shall.
camera.
But I opened up 2 days before Christmas. I opened up the box, and I mean, I just I shed a tear, and I was like so moved by that. And then I went out and bought a bunch of used Nikon lenses, and now I have 2 sets of cameras. because everybody needs 2 sets of cameras.
Exactly.
I once had 3 sets of drums too, so we won't even go there. We're not going there because, yeah. So, so that's the lens. Now, what else the next thing on my list would be lighting.
Yep.
Would be lighting for sure. And that's going to a lot depend on what kind of photographer you want to be. In other words, if like you're going to be a portrait photographer, you might be able to use this kind of lighting over that kind of lighting. But what I wanted to do is to talk about a general photographer, a little bit of portraiture, a little bit of product, what have you. Where would you go? Where would you start?
I'm going to break my list down here. So if I was starting today, if a student came to me and said, I have 0 equipment, like what would I do and I'm going to target this primarily from a portrait viewpoint, but I think everything that I've listed could,
sure.
you could use it for anything. I would say if they could find a used Mark II, which is at this point nowadays, I think it's probably like what, $500 or $600.
$500 easy.
That's crazy. That camera is so good for $500. It's crazy. I would tell them to start out with a 50 millimeter $100 nifty 50. I would tell them.
Wait a minute. What's $500? What did you say?
5D Mark II.
5D Mark II for $500?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
it's such an ancient camera.
I'm getting, I have a 6D that I love. And I have a 60D that I want to get rid of. I want to get another full frame camera to go with my 6D. And I've been looking around. I might just get a 5D Mark II as a second camera. I mean, I can't imagine that I would be disappointed with that camera at all.
No, it's awesome. It does incredible
compared
stuff.
to the 5D Mark IVs now or 5 Mark Vs?
Yeah.
Mark IVs?
There are 4. 4 is the
And
resolution wise, it's all
$3,300, right?
Yep. I think it's all like autofocus and stuff. I think like the new one's got like 185,000 autofocus points and
okay.
all that kind of stuff. But
doesn't matter. It's Canon. They don't work anyway. The only one that works is the one in the middle. Try shooting a portrait on the beach with the sun behind the person. Then you'll find out what true hell is, folks.
Yes. But so I would recommend, and it's like, it doesn't matter. It's that old. So I had that as my camera. Start with a 50 millimeter. That's $100 lens. You can do all kinds of stuff with a 50. Just use your feet. You can back up and stuff. For lighting, I was thinking a lot of newer. I've noticed a lot of people now are dumping, like Alien B was popular for a long time, and now they're dumping it for this newer or Godox. Godox seems to be the new word.
Newer and Godox.
I would say best bang for the buck is find like an Alien B 1600 and get one of the little vagabond portable lithium battery packs, which is probably I think you can get them about $200 off Craigslist used.
Should be able to.
And I think you get a used B16. I think you can probably get it right around $145, $150 or something like that. So for like $350, you've got incredible, like you can overpower the sun at noontime outside with an Alien B 1600. Like that's their top of the line power thing. And that's good for everything. Like that's good. You can use it. You can turn the power all the way down. I think it's got 6 or 8 stops of power on it. And then I would say pick up a 60-inch umbrella, which runs for about $45. I say umbrellas only because you can use them like 4 different ways. You can use it reflective, you can use it shoot through, you can break the umbrella down over the flash itself, so it kind of gives you like a gridded softbox kind of look. All kinds of different ways that you can use it, and it's the most versatile. And it's basically an expendable commodity because, the minute you take it outside in the wind, you're going to get blown out. It's going to just collapse in on itself. Yep. Or you can find, nowadays, I think Newer has a whole line of soft boxes that can open and close like umbrellas and stuff, and you just put the light inside it. Yeah.
And those Newer and Godox both.
Yeah, and those run for about $45. I got a nice Octabox that's like 46 inches or something like that, and I think I paid like $40 for it. So I would say the light, get the minium lithium battery pack, because then you can run a light off of it, or if your batteries start to go low, you can charge your batteries while you're on the field. And then the other thing I would say is a lot of people don't want to carry C-stands around, but I would say either a C-stand because it's going to last forever, or something, a nice sturdy light stand. So a light stand, a light, your camera, an umbrella, boom. Like that's all you need. You're good to go. Like you don't need all the extra bells and whistles.
We're at $1,400.
Cheap.
Gotta have some stands. Gotta have some stands.
Yep.
So I was looking at, and I went with Amazon here, so they're kind of newer stands.
I mean, you can get a C-stand off Amazon for like $135 with the arm and everything, and that's gonna last. Like they're gonna bury you with that thing. Like it's gonna last forever.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's a little heavier, but it's an industry standard. Like that, just get that, and then you don't have to worry about anything. You can stick a light on it. You can put the boom arm on it, and you can boom a light out over, with the grip arm on it. They're so worth it.
They are. So we are at, that's another $125 for a silver Neewer C-stand. So we're $1,525.
That's not bad.
Now,
That's,
let's pull up some lighting gear here that I like. Let me share this with you guys. Here's the Godox SK400. That's 3 400-watt seconds lights.
holy moly.
Light stands, softbox, barn door, umbrella wire, blah, 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 blah. All of that for $700.
That's crazy.
Now, these are not the battery ones. These are plug them into the wall. So I know that people these days act like, well, if it's not a battery, you can't really use it. Let me tell you, folks, batteries are kind of a new thing on the planet. We were going to the moon before we had battery-powered strobes. So,
those SK400s are fantastic, Don. My only complaint about the SK400 is it only has 5 stops, so you can't actually go as low as you can with the 8600.
Right. You're absolutely right. Same thing. That's right. You can't. You've got 5 stops on here. My Pro Photo has full power, half power, and quarter power. So 3 stops on my Pro Photo compacts, which is a pain in the ass. I wish it was more than that. We all do. But if you're in a studio situation, if you're looking at, you're going to be doing product and food and everything, here's $700. You got a carrying case, all of your shit in a box for $700. That's the price of one 600-watt Godox battery strobe. And you have the inconvenience of having to plug them in. But like you said, Sid, pick up a couple of those Alien Bee batteries, baby.
Yeah.
Power these things all day long.
Yeah.
I have a set of the MS300s from Godox, and they work really well. The only thing I kind of wish now that we've started talking a lot more with the motion and video and cinegraphs and stuff, is that I had a couple LED lights at this point, the Godox LED or something like that for doing the video. Do you think it would be better for somebody if they're starting out and putting the kit together to go with LED lights so that way they can do the video too? Or
I think they gotta. I think if you're starting your business out right now, you're going to have to put in a good year solid of stills, and then you're going to have to high-foot it over to video.
Okay.
I don't
my
think
feeling is that still photography as we know it right now will probably be gone at the end of this decade. Canon is coming out with an 8K camera. I was told that you could shoot stills off of it. I still do not understand that. I really don't. I don't care how many pixels there are. You're still shooting at 60 frames a second. So your shutter speed's a 1/160th. But apparently what it does is so the subject's moving. If you're shooting something moving at a 60th of a second, a bride or a fashion model or whatever, you're going to get some blur. But apparently what the software does is then find that happy middle and put them all together and bring it back sharp. You're talking about an 8K camera video camera, they'll just be pulling the stills off the video. It'll be video first. Between now and 2025, we will go video first. All of the jobs that I'm seeing coming in right now to photographers that I know, all of them are video included. They want video. A company just called up a friend of mine here in the Valley, said, we need video. We need video. This guy's been shooting for them for a long ass time, and they've never even talked about video. Now all of a sudden they're video centric. They want video for their YouTube. They want video for Instagram. They want video for their website. They want motion. So it's Mark, to your point. I'm going to put that over on the side because you're right. Motion is huge. But if you're going to build a business, you may have to make a decision at the beginning what you're going to do, because not all of us are in big cities. I mean, if you're in New York, the clients know what you're talking about. If you're in Tulsa or Tucson, they're not that sophisticated. You're going to have to lead them to where you need to go. So, but yeah, you're absolutely right. But luckily, those are pretty cheap.
Yeah, they've got 150 watt Godox one. I think it's like $190. It's a Bowman's S mount on it, so you can use all the same modifiers and everything.
Yeah, and what's those? One of my photography students in the new group has those roto lights. Mm-hmm. Anybody know what I'm talking about, Sid?
No.
They're strobe and LEDs.
Huh. Like the modeling light is an LED, or
no? It's a full-on LED light. It's, the very powerful LED, or it's got a strobe tube in the middle.
Huh? No, I've never heard of those.
Yeah, she's using it for video and still photography. Roto something, but I can't. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Mike, looks like you're looking something up. You're looking.
Hey, we are.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out for the life of me what this is and how to load the damn thing. And so I'm listening in one ear and I'm on my other screen trying to figure this thing out.
You know how to open it, right?
Well, I know how to open it, but I can't figure out how to advance the film. And it just, it's got these two knobs, but neither of them turn, or at least they don't turn. So I'm just whatever.
That's why you got the camera cheap. They're supposed to turn. That's
wait, it does turn.
The film.
Oh shit, it does.
Is that a Bowen?
I just didn't force it. Whoops.
I
know what it is. You don't have the motor drive hooked up to it.
Right. well, this is a Zeiss Iconta, and I think.
Yeah, they didn't come with motor drives, Mike.
Well, no, they didn't. I think this one's like 1950-ish.
Check the autofocus.
But it's so primitive, it's ridiculous, right? No, this is just zone focusing. I mean, it's not even a rangefinder.
No,
you just look through there to see which Rayman, and then you kind of guess based on
the battery dead.
It's
a
totally.
It needs a firmware update.
I think so.
It's either a fixed 5.6.
But that's the funny thing, is, Don, is I listen to these because it's interesting to hear. But both my digital cameras sit around, and the ones I enjoy and the ones that I actually shoot with are full on manual. I don't even have the ELM version. I just I like the old. I mean, something you could throw at a tank and it's going to dent the tank. So. Yeah.
Well, then you need to get an RB67 because that thing.
Oh, look at these arms! I couldn't carry an RB67. The Hasselblad's about the limit, and I mean the Hasselblad with the 40 mil on there is really the limit.
I carry the RB67. When my daughter started photography, she was learning. I helped her with the wedding photography business, and of course, I want to use film. But I was the Mexican pack mule and carry the RB67 and the Pentax 645 and the 35 millimeter. You know, everything's metal and glass, and I'm the pack mule carrying it on the rocks at the beach, holding everything for her and loading film till she's ready.
That's awesome.
I love it. That's great.
Here's the Newer boom, C-stand boom.
Yep.
And I'm a big believer in this. They are portable if you can get Virginia to carry it for you.
Yeah.
Other than that, you'll need a gym membership to take your gear out on location.
But like that one's great because it's got a removable foot. Like you can take the base off,
Yes.
so you know, like you can throw it in your car. Like, yeah, it's worth its weight.
I have a C-stand in my car. I always have a C-stand in my car. I've got the 6-foot one, the small one.
Yep.
I have a 6-foot C-stand in my car all the time because there's just nothing else, folks, that you can even think about using that's stronger than a C-stand. Yeah. These legs down here at the bottom are flat across the top for a reason. You throw a sandbag over each one of these things, it's not going anywhere.
Yep.
And then I had pair of stands for $65. I did my ad wrong. We are at 30 with all the different variations. We're somewhere around $3,500, and I think we got all the gear we need to start out.
Yeah,
soft boxes and umbrellas and booms and stands and the whole bit. We're right about $3,500. We've saved up $8,000.
So we got money for that roto light. I just looked it up, and that's a pretty cool light.
I just finished watching the video on it. It's kind of neat.
How much are they, Mark?
$199.
And how many watt seconds?
Well, it's a LED, so I was trying to figure out. Let me get back to.
That doesn't sound right to me. $199. That sounds like just the LED.
Yeah, that's just it's the light. It kind of looks like
$299. The one I'm looking at is $299. The Neo 2. That's continuous LED light and HSS flash.
What does it say? How powerful?
But it doesn't give any specs.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it does. Hang on.
Flash output f8 at ISO 200 at 3 feet. Color temperature 3150 to 6300. CRI 96.
F8 at ISO 100 at 3 feet.
200. F8 ISO 200 at 3 feet.
Very, very powerful flash.
Yeah.
No.
Runs on 6 AAA batteries or 8.
That's about the same as a speed light. About the same as an inexpensive speed light.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's a great light, man. You know, think about having one of those in your bag. You know, you got a little flash if you need it, the whole bit. So if we've got $4,500 left, do we have 45? Yeah, we have $4,500 left to start our business. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because I know people will go out and spend $8,000 on a camera body and 2 lenses, and then wonder how they're going to start their business.
Yep.
Guys, we're talking about $3,500. That's with a $1,000 used camera. Could be a D800 or a D810. Could be a Mark III. I think the Mark IIIs are going for like $1,200, so maybe a couple hundred over. A great lens. Oh, sorry. Forgot the lens. Forgot the lens. We're at $4,500. That's right. So that we're at $4,000 anyway, because both those lenses, the 24 to 120 and the 24 to 105 used, are somewhere right around $500 in perfect condition. So we're at $4,500. We've got $3,500 left. I would say put it into a good website. No, you don't have to hire a fancy dancy website designer. You could set one up over at what's Rob's?
Squarespace.
At Squarespace, you could use Squarespace. You could use Photo Pro or whatever it is, Rob Haggard's. site. Get yourself a good website, and then spend your money either on building your portfolio, or if you have a decent portfolio already built, spend some money on SEO. Hire a business coach, because you're going to need one. If you think going into business for yourselves is easy, it's just not. I see a wry smile on Sid there, shaking his head. We all know what it's like to start this kind of business. We're not selling peas, folks, cans of peas, where we can do those great, cost of doing business things and figuring out how many cans of peas we can sell in a day doesn't work for our kind of business. It doesn't work. It's nice to know how much your nut is. What do you got to come up with at the end of the month to stay in business? But trying to base your property, your output on those numbers is impossible.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm working on too, and it's still in the groundwork stages of trying to get all the other things done, is what do you think as far as like how much do you need when it comes to workman's comp for yourself if you're self-employed, setting up your own corporation, or being bonded and insured in case you're working with somebody or a client that they do a portrait session and they get hurt. The business back end that comes with protecting your personal self.
Yeah.
That's not that much money.
No.
It can be, I'm paying $80 a month. I don't have a studio. You don't need the workman's comp. What you need is, what's it called when you hurt yourself? My husband had a major accident 20 years ago, and we ended up
Sometimes
homeless.
it's called key man insurance.
You can get it through the state. It's disability insurance, and it's not very expensive. Like they say, my husband had an accident. He self-employed, couldn't work. We ended up homeless, and a $300 a year payment to the state would have given us disability.
Yeah, it's good to be covered for stuff like that. Recently, there was some sort of thing people were talking about, people getting sick. I don't know what it was. Somewhere here, I didn't read very much about it, but they closed down a lot of businesses, and they said, well, you can get unemployment. Guess what? If you're an LLC or a corporation, if you incorporated your little business, you weren't eligible for unemployment because you were a business.
Really?
So I have several friends who are LLCs, and they thought, I'll go get unemployment. They said, if you're self-employed, you can get unemployment. But if you're an LLC, you're not self-employed. You are the employer. Oops.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I'm not an LLC. I'm a sole proprietor, but I didn't try to get unemployment because I'm still employed. Still working with you guys and Project 52 and all of those things. I didn't try to get it, but it came as a shock to a lot of photographers when they were instantly denied because they were they're the employer. The LLC is the employer, and they can't break that corporate shield to make it about them. Well, here's Mark III's, guys, for $847. 1,039 with 100% positive seller, 99.9% positive. That's huge. That's a pretty darn good camera body for $851.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you don't have to have the newest. It doesn't have to be they're just, doesn't have to be brand new.
No.
No.
Here's a 900 for a D810. $1,000 for a D810. Huh. Yeah. And the thing is, if you can't make a really good picture with a used D810, you can't make a really good picture with a brand new D8, whatever they are now, D890.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes.
Just not possible.
Yep.
Gone on photo walks with people who I once walked next to a guy who had $10,000 of equipment on his back, and all he did was take pictures of trees. The only good thing about those guys is that they have to have the latest and greatest, and they sell their old equipment cheap enough.
Yes.
They do.
And that's the thing about all these people that have tried to do photography. The pandemic hit. All hell is broken loose, and they're going to be getting rid of equipment cheap. So I'm trying to think about what I need. Make a shopping list, and then I'll be looking.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you want to see some real horror stories, is go on Flickr and then like look up medium format cameras and then look at the images that are on there, because most of the time it's like people looking, taking pictures of their grandkids and pictures of trees and pictures of squirrels.
It's the process. There's two kinds of photographers. There's the photographer who's interested in the result, and there are the photographers who are interested in the act of photographing.
Yeah.
And so they're the ones who never ever get the models their pictures, who they promise their pictures, because they're always so busy doing the next thing. They enjoy the physical act of doing it, of going out and photographing those trees, like Virginia said, and they've got the gear and they set this up and they set that up. But, I've always been more focused on the final product. I visualize everything, and I see the final print, because to me, a photograph is still a print. I don't visualize it on a monitor. Maybe some people do. I don't. I visualize the print. I still see the print in its finished form. I kind of already have processed it in my head. I'm going to bring this down, I'm going to pull that up and bring that up over there, and all of those things, already done it before I even click the shutter.
Mm-hmm.
When I was teaching photography back in analog days, and my students would say, I can't wait to get the film back to see if it came out. I would say, well, you better know that already. I mean, it's a little late for that.
Yeah, barring something going weird in processing, the minute you hit it, you know you got it.
Yeah.
You better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unless it's a toddler. Just saying.
Yeah.
Babies.
Or a dog or a cat.
That's true. That's true.
But that's what digital's for.
Well, I did kindergarten graduation pictures yesterday, and I did film and digital, and I showed the digital, but I'm going to print the film. I haven't got it back yet, but who knows? That I know I got something. I know my light was good. I know my everything was good. It's just, who knows, with especially an autistic 5-year-old.
Mm.
Yeah.
So what's going on in New Hampshire, Sid?
Well, it's interesting. We're in a little bit of a conundrum, because our mayor turned around and told us that the stay-at-home order is now in effect until the middle of this month. So we're not sure. Like, a lot of places are starting to open up again, but now he's emphasizing that he wants the stay-at-home order to stay until at least the 15th. They just opened the beaches up today, so who knows what's going to happen with that.
Well, it's important to open the beaches up when you're staying home.
Exactly. Right. Right. Yeah. So it's weird, because it's like right now you pretty much don't want to go outside anyways, because it's like if you're not, running into virus, then you're running into protesters everywhere, or it's a really crazy time right now. So
Besides the ticks you already have.
You can't go walking in the woods now, because your legs are gonna get infested, and you'll probably get Lyme disease, and then you won't be able to go outside anymore. And it's crazy.
Has anybody figured out how the coronavirus knows that you're a protester, so it won't infect you?
Well,
they were talking about how the tear gas is going to raise the risk of coronavirus being passed. And I told my wife it shouldn't be an issue. They were wearing masks.
Yeah.
The tear gas should have no effect at all. They had their mask on.
Yeah.
Except they were lifting their masks with some of them and spraying them in the face. So
there was a video that they showed the other day, and it was horrible what was happening, but they were looting a store in New York City. And a guy's in there looting the store with his mask on, and he picks up a can of pop, soda, wherever you're at, He pulls the mask down right in front of the camera, takes a drink of the soda, sets it down, and puts his mask back on. Right in front of the camera.
What's up with all the people that are wearing their masks just over their mouth?
Yeah.
And they've got
We
their
talked
nose.
about that.
They're
That's
like
their mouth
everywhere.
mask.
You go into the grocery store and like half of the employees, they got their mouth covered, but their nose is just hanging out.
If you
I saw a classic one the other day at Costco. They they got you spaced apart 6 feet, and they've got plexiglass up around all of the registers. And the lady that was running the checkout, she asked the gentleman a question, and he took his mask off his ear and put his ear closer to the plexiglass to hear her.
Yeah, if you ask them why they don't have it on their nose, it's because they can't breathe with it on them.
Breathe.
Like, you do realize how the respiratory system works, right?
Yeah. No, they don't. No, they don't.
Not at all.
Not at all. No.
I had told Dawn before on a call where I'm doing DoorDash right now to supplement as I get business coming in. And there's a few restaurants that you go to that are doing a contactless drive-through system. So like yesterday I picked up at Burger King, because it happens all the time, and she put the drink inside of a plastic container, like they would keep ketchup packets in or stuff like that. And she's holding on the top of the cup as she's reaching out the window so I can take the cup out of the plastic container. And then she puts the bag in the plastic container and reaches out with the plastic container so I can take the bag out. Because since we didn't touch the bag at the exact same time, it's safer.
They're trying so hard.
Here. Well, that's a really weird that they're doing that to you, Sid.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I don't know. It's bizarre. It's just the whole thing is just completely bizarre. Like they're setting they're staggering the openings, but then the governor came on and he was just like, no, he's like, I'd be more comfortable if we made sure that the stay-at-home order was at least until June 15th. He's like, I'll readdress it when we get to the 15th. So they both, my city and the second largest city, Manchester, they both canceled all the 4th of July stuff. So everybody's screeching about that. And then our city, Nashua, the alderman passed a mandate where in the city, you have to wear a mask. In businesses and places like that, everybody's got to be wearing a mask. So that's been drawing a lot of controversy because we've got protesters now that obviously, freedom and.
Well, didn't Fauci come out and say? Isn't the CDC come out and said? I
thought he said, yeah.
Wear a mask or those who are caring for sick people?
I thought that was what he said. But as an extra, like this is they voted, the aldermen all voted for it. So it's an actual, like if you're caught without a mask, depending on who the officer is that finds you, you could get a fine. You can get up to $1,000 fine if you're not wearing a mask. So we haven't had that issue yet.
Let's hope it's just not having a mask, because apparently trying to pass a phony $20 bill gets you.
Oh yeah, you'll get your neck stepped on. Yeah,
Jesus.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Just
it's
crazy. Then Virginia, I heard that Yellowstone is having mini earthquakes up there. So sounds like Yellowstone's low.
So the earthquake that just happened, I think is below Searles Valley, which is between Bakersfield and Mojave Desert. They had a 5.1 or something, but we felt it. Like normally we never feel an earthquake that high up. But I'm sitting at the dining table thinking, okay, well, that's an earthquake. And the whole family,
way up in Searles?
Yeah, we felt it. I mean, I live next to a fault, so maybe it was, I'm thinking it was connected to the fault that I'm on.
San Andreas,
the fault I'm on, it's San Andreas. So
San Andreas is just across the mountain from you, up where Palm Springs.
Yeah,
right?
but I live next to the San Jacinto fault.
Okay.
Is connected to the San Andreas fault. So I think that earthquake must have been connected to the San Andreas.
Wow.
Why not 2020?
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's like it's might as well bring on. Where's the damn killer hornets we were promised?
The murder
They're
bees.
still in Washington State.
The murder hornets or whatever they were called.
Yeah, they need to stay there.
Well, the asteroid's going to miss us.
Damn.
I know. I was
so close.
Rats.
There's there's an alien out there somewhere going, "Ugh." It's just
I saw
let it by a little more.
I saw a meme on Facebook
Big
the
ass
other.
asteroid, by the way.
I saw a meme on Facebook the other day. It was from Back to the Future, and it's Doc and Michael J. Fox. He's getting in the car. He's like, "Rule number 1: never set it to 2020."
Yeah. Yes.
Well. Anyway,
Crazy.
weird times. There's movement out there photographically. Get out there and start learning video. If you're not learning video, everyone start learning video. It's going to be
I gotta learn editing video. I've taken a ton of
Yeah.
video,
Yeah.
but it's really getting fast I take video for every shoot. I do motion for all the food stuff I've been doing for the ag group, but it's editing.
Find yourself,
Yeah.
and I'm really serious here. Find yourself an editor. Find yourself someone who loves editing, because there are a lot of people who love the editing process, and they're going to be looking for stuff to do for their portfolio, just like you are doing. Because I don't think there's a future in Sid and Mike and Virginia, all of us here. I don't think there's a future in us going out and shooting video and coming back and editing it. That's too many hours sitting in a chair, and you're just not going to be able to bill for it, folks.
Yeah.
You're just not going to be able to bill it. It's going to be too damned expensive, or you're going to be barely making a living and having back problems. Because for every minute of video you shoot, that's got to be an hour or more of editing. You can
edit video on wet plate.
Huh?
Can we shoot video on wet plate?
No.
Sure.
Unfortunately, we can't.
I thought Photoshop was a big program.
As long as you can do something where the shutter speed is 1.5 minutes.
Change the plates as fast as you can.
As fast as you can do those plates, and then you can scan them all, and that probably won't work.
Yeah. I thought Photoshop was a big program until I started looking at Premiere Pro and After Effects. Holy crap.
Well, Premiere makes Photoshop look like kindergarten, but After Effects makes Premiere look like kindergarten.
Right.
So
when I get on Premiere Pro, I'm calling my son-in-law who just lives downstairs, but I'm like, okay, so what's that thing again that I do? Because I can't remember.
There's a website called, is it Fiverr? Fiverr that they have editors for hire. It's you can go on there and look at different.
And there's some good ones on there. They might charge you about.
Okay, you got to tell me who they are, because I've spent some money on Fiverr for crap. All I ever got was crap, or a copy of somebody else's work.
I've gotten really good stuff from Fiverr, but I'm very picky, Virginia.
Well, the thing about Fiverr too is you can't just choose one guy and expect to get a good result. You got to send it to about 5, and you'll take the best out of those 5.
Yeah, what I would do is
99 designs, guys.
99D is awesome.
99D,
yeah.
What I would do, Virginia, is it's going to be a little bit of money, but kind of like figuring out who you can work with. Like I'd look through and probably find like 4 or 5 different editors on there. Give them all the exact same project and the exact same guidelines, and that would work within your price. If you was to hire them, it's going to cost a little bit more because you're going to, pay 4 or 5 times for the same project. But see who comes back closest to, delivering what you want.
I have to have someone who speaks English.
Yeah.
Well, if
I might just, there's all these people that are getting out of the photography business, but still maybe want to do something. So I'm kind of thinking I'm just going to put my feelers out there that I'm looking for somebody, because I want somebody with my aesthetic that I can collaborate with. And I know exactly what I want when I shot. You know how when you shoot a picture, you know what you want. Like with film, I know what I want and I know what it's going to look like. Well, it's the same thing with the video. Is I shot the video knowing what the result is and what it's supposed to look like.
And if you work with an editor that you really, really like, and you start getting video assignments, that editor is going to start getting work that's paid for, because you're going to roll his editing, into your bid. You have to. Otherwise, it'll kill you.
Yeah, it's just getting enough video to have, because I'm a strong believer in having the portfolio for, like you say, have the portfolio for the work that you want.
Yep.
And so in video, my portfolio, even the work I don't show, but I show to potential clients, I have a huge portfolio. I just need a nice size portfolio for the video. And when you're doing it, you're still working out in your head and with the video, the end result. It's not like it just like, I'm going to do video and it's exactly what you want. It
Right.
takes time, like it took time to build the still portfolio.
It does. It does take time. Yep.
There, you can also look on Upwork.com and search for what you want, pay by the project, pay by the hour. And depending on if you don't mind, somebody that speaks English but lives in Bangladesh or Pakistan, you can even get paid by the month for a few $100. So it's actually really good. We've used some Pakistanis that are just phenomenal. And I mean, they'll do work for peanuts. Something you pay an American $5,000 for, $500,
I had my book formatted by a young lady in Belarus.
Yeah.
And she did a fabulous job for me, a really, really good job for me. And she formatted the book 2 different ways for $75.
The funny thing about the Eastern Bloc, Don, is they're getting more expensive because people are finding out how good their quality is.
They're good.
And yeah, and they're so close to Western Europe that it didn't take them long to catch up to the times, So yeah, they're very good. So their prices are actually going up.
Well, their prices could double and it'd still be a steal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I remember when Fiverr first started, you could actually get somebody for $5. It's really hard to find anybody on Fiverr now for $5.
Well, I took I don't know if I ever showed you this or told you about it. I know Mark's heard this story, but I have an picture of my mom reading me a book when I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's old, so it's damaged, It's got a thumbprint right over my face where the oils have kind of, made a yellow thumbprint right on the face. And so I sent it to 5 different guys on Fiverr, and the grand total was about $115, I think it was. And I got back one that looks like it was brand new. I mean, one of the guys just knocked it out of the park, and he was $25. So if I need photo restoration, I know who to go to.
That is definitely, a lot of money for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, it's something to think about, Virginia, because when you're working, you do want to make some money. I look at some prices that photographers are charging here in town for video, and I just don't know how they're doing it. I mean, unless they're just literally, those are the guys you call and say, how you doing in your marketing? Oh, I'm not marketing. I don't have time. They don't. They're sitting there editing a video that they got paid $200 for, and they're on day 3.
Right.
That's craziness.
Yeah.
Craziness. So, All right, folks. Great chat today. Thank you, Sid, for bringing your ideas.
I enjoy this every week.
And I've often said you can start a photography business for under $5,000, and I threw out 8, but we still came in at under 5.
Yeah. Don't be afraid of used equipment. As long as you find somebody that's taking care of their stuff, it's just going to save you so much money in the long run.
Yep.
And you take that extra 5 just that you didn't spend, and that's your living expenses in case you can't find a job.
That's what I was going to say. That'll get you through the tight weeks.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Or it'll pay for your marketing brochures or whatever that you're going to be sending out to people.
You're gonna, you always have to spend money to get money. That's the bottom line. You're going to have to do a little advertising. Google AdWords are great, but you've got to learn how to use them. It's not something that's just intuitive. Learn how to use the Google AdWords. Take a LinkedIn, what's it called? Lynda.com over at LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah.
AdWords class for $40 to really, so you can drill down. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Well, at least get the portfolio done. Do the work. So that's the thing is I see a lot of people, I'm doing this and that. Well, where's your portfolio? Where's your pictures?
Yeah.
Even if you just show me the work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, getting the work is the hardest thing. Getting the work ethic comes first. If you don't have the work ethic, you can't get the work. And it's hard when you're self-employed. It's really, really hard. It's a hard life, no matter what. Even if you're really successful, you're busting your ass every day.
For every day you don't have a job, you're unemployed. I mean, that's the
Mhm.
that's the freelance self-employment thing. My dad was self-employed, and oh man, I just remember just the stress. I know I get to live it. So thanks, Dad.
We have to admit to ourselves now that we are non-essential workers. We're not essential. The world doesn't stop on a dime for photography. We've got to make that shit happen. So, all right. Hey, thanks everybody for coming out.
Bye-bye.
We'll
Thank
see
you.
you all.
Bye.
Have a good week, everybody.
Then you get to pick the topic for next week. So let me
Okay.
know.
All right.
All right, guys.
Be safe, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Stay healthy.
Stay healthy.